Okay, well, hello and good evening, everyone. Croeso mawr I chi gyd. Very warm welcome to you all to our Year 11 and into Year 12 options evening. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Mr. Lewis and I'm the head teacher. It's my pleasure really to welcome you tonight to this live Teams event. We've chosen Teams tonight because it's still difficult to get people into school for the obvious reasons, so we do apologise for that. But we do quite like this format because it does mean that there's a Q&A sort of chat facility within this this software where we'll encourage you to put in any questions that you might have, that at the end we can answer as many of those as we can. So what we're going to do is have I've got a couple of people who are just going to give you some information, some important information tonight. But what I would suggest you do, an important thing is by the end of tonight, we try and answer as many questions as you can. So if you do have any questions, then please pop them into the Q&A and the chat, and we will review those. I'll come back at the end of the presentations and hopefully we'll be able to answer as many questions as you can. So, you know, it's not as good as being in person, obviously, that's what we prefer, but it's the best we can do, and we do hope that, that we will be able to answer as many questions as possible. Just as a reminder, we are recording this session as well, so we will be putting this on the school website, and you will be able to review this presentation if there's anything you're not sure about as well after the evening. So the program for tonight, I'm just really going to do something of an introduction really, and then we've got a couple of speakers for you. We've got Miss Jones, who is our head of sixth form, and she's going to tell you really all about the provision within St Cyres sixth form and the offer really from us. And then after Miss Jones, we've got Mr. Bruton, who is the deputy head who oversees the whole options process, and he's going to explain the sort of mechanics, if you like, about actually making your options. And then finally, Mr. Flynn, who you all know as head of Year 11, he's going to come in and just make a few points really right at the end, just so that everybody's clear. And then what I'll do then is I'll come back right at the end to try and address any questions you might have. So, you know, I hope you find it a useful and informative evening, you know, get everything that you want answered. Okay, so on to the first slide then. So first of all, why choose St Cyres? Well, there are a number of reasons why we would want our Year 11 pupils to think about us for the post-16 study. First of all, that you know, the teachers know your sons and daughters very, very well, and we know the way that they learn best, and we know the way that we can support them best. And that's really important when you're considering a sixth form provision, because you want to have that continuity with people that know you better. And you will also be encouraged by us, as they have been through their compulsory education, of course, to you know, to reach and exceed all of their own targets. We go above and beyond at St Cyres. Okay, we provide what I consider to be excellent support, not just within lessons, but outside of normal timetable lessons. I'm sure your sons and daughters have experienced that and will do so in these remaining months of Year 11, where we do extra revision and extra study support sessions and all of those extra things that we are so good at providing. And of course, we've got state-of-the-art facilities. And obviously we're very proud of what we've got in terms of our physical environment here and the facilities that offers to our students. And in the sixth form, that, you know, there are a particular wing that maybe some of you haven't seen, but you know, a sixth form area with its own sixth form classrooms, private study area, a group work study area, and its own dedicated sixth form cafe as well. So we have got fantastic facilities for students when they move into that sort of post-16 and A-level and AS study. And probably most importantly, you know, we've got a really strong track record of consistently producing fantastic results for our students, which really allows those then to springboard into the destinations that they choose. For most of our students that leave our sixth form, that will be university. but also for a smaller number going into other apprenticeships and other learning establishments. So we're very proud of what we do in terms of our results and the success that we have with students. And on the subject of destinations, I've just got a couple of figures for you to look at there. So, you know, last year, 88% of our students entered higher education, doing over 60 different courses, which we're very pleased with, because, as I said, we think we provide a foundation where students could go on past school into university with the skills they need to develop, the skills they need to study in a wide variety of subjects. Just under half of our sixth formers last year gained a place in what UCAS referred to as the higher tariff, or the Russell Group universities, including Cambridge, and we're very proud of all of those students. And for the year 13s that we've got now, within a week of the UCAS deadline, 40% of our students have had all of their offers from their chosen universities, including 2 students who have currently holding offers for Oxford University as well. So when we support our students at the end of year 13 or the middle of year 13 to prepare them for university, we do a really, really good job, and that's why those offers are coming through very, very quickly and very favourably for our students in our current year 13. There's a couple of things I'll say then just before I'm going to wrap up and hand over, but we make a couple of assumptions when people want to join us, and I want to encourage as many students in year 11 and a number of students from other schools will join us, but I want to encourage as many year 11 students to consider St Cyres sixth form as a choice for you, and in doing so we are assuming that you're making a positive choice to come into our sixth form. Okay, you know who we are, you know what we are, you know that you've been supported well, but it's a choice to come back to school, and we hope that you see that as something that is very desirable and will help you further your own ambitions. So you are making a positive choice to come here. You're choosing to stay within a school environment, and for all of the support and pastoral care that we provide, that is what you're choosing when you choose to come back to St Cyres School. And we want you to make a positive choice, that this is your place, that you think that you can go on to the next stage in your education. We're also assuming, and we'll talk about this a little bit later, but we're also assuming that you will have the qualifications from within our curriculum offer to be able to access the demands of our courses. We would expect all students to do 4 AS qualifications year 12 and the Welsh Bac programme, and we have very clear and well publicised entry requirements, which Ms Jones will cover shortly. So again, that's an assumption we'll make if you choose to come back to St Cyres sixth form in September. And of course, look, you know, I've mentioned it's a school. You know, there are certain expectations of being part of a school, albeit in the sixth form. We'll still have high expectations of you in terms of your uniform. We'll have high expectations of you in terms of your attendance, and we'll have high expectations of you in terms of your punctuality and other things. Okay, when you agree to come back to school, you know, you do agree to follow all of the school policies and procedures that you would expect in a school. But in return for that, as I said at the start, you know, our commitment to you is that, you know, we will offer you the very, very best sixth form education that we can possibly provide. So they're the assumptions that we make. The assumptions that you can make if you choose St Cyres sixth form is that we will do our very best to support you in a curriculum that is right for you, and in an environment which will stimulate you and make sure that you've got the expertise and subject expertise amongst your teachers to do the very, very best that you can. I've mentioned as well, you know, the pastoral care, the way that we look after children, students in this school, both in the sixth form and the rest of the school, you know, we're very proud of. We will challenge you to do your very, very best, because you would be joining our sixth form in year 12 in September, and very soon we'll be starting to plan your exit from St Cyres at the end of year 13 into those kind of university programs I've mentioned. So you will be challenged, but you will be challenged to do your very, very best. And that is what sixth form life should be about. And again, I've touched on this a little bit, but it's a very, very important point. it's not about just success at A level, and it's not just about looking after students when they're in our sixth form, but it's also about our duty to prepare you for the next stage of your journey. And the assumption that you can make is that we will prepare you well. We will give you the skills and the knowledge that will allow you to go on to the next stage of your educational journey. And whether that's in employment, whether that is in some sort of apprenticeship, or, as I said, for most of our students for university life, whatever that is, that we make sure that you are ready, that by the time you leave our year 13, that you really are in the best position to make the very, very best of the next stage of your journey. So look, that's just a little bit of an overview from me. And like I said, I'll come back at the end just to pick up any questions. And if you hopefully most of the things that you want to know we'll cover in the presentation. But if they're not covered, please pop them in the Q&A, and I'll pick those up with you in about, I don't know, 25 minutes or something like that. So I'm now going to hand over to Miss Jones, who many of you will perhaps won't know, but Miss Jones is the head of sixth form, and she will tell you all about the what life is like in St Cyres sixth form, what we offer here, and a lot about our sixth form curriculum. So over to you, Miss Jones.
Okay, thank you very much. So as Mr. Lewis said, lots of you probably don't know me, but I'm head of year 12 and year 13, so I'm the head of the sixth form as a whole. And I just want to talk to you a little bit about our provision, the provision that we have here. So much like the rest of the school, which is an inclusive school, a comprehensive school, we're an inclusive sixth form. So we understand that students have got very different starting points and different goals. So it may be that some students, when I talk about our entry requirements shortly, will meet our minimum requirements, and others will exceed those entry requirements. But we have pathways for all the students that want to join our sixth form and that meet our requirements. So what that means is we've got a range of level 3 qualifications, and they cater for all the different ability ranges and the different aspirations that our students have. You could see from the figures that Mr. Lewis gave you that actually, always about 85–90% of our students go on to higher education establishments, but not all. Some will look for apprenticeships, some go on and join the armed forces. There are a number of different pathways that students choose. And as Mr. Lewis has already said, we want to make sure that you're prepared. Now, there will be new courses on offer that haven't been on offer either before in our school or at Key Stage 4. So we offer courses. Criminology is very, very popular. Tourism is a new course that we're offering, as is economics. Food and nutrition builds on the food and nutrition qualification from Key Stage 4. And we've got film studies, which is an exciting new subject that we're offering, and digital technology, which is a new ICT qualification. And it may be that some students want to mix and match some of the more traditional A-level subjects, history, English literature, etc., with some of those newer courses, those more vocational qualifications, and I'll talk about those a little bit later on. But whatever your academic ability, whatever entry requirements, qualifications you come in with, as long as you meet our requirements, we will do our very, very best to provide you with an appropriate pathway through the sixth form. So that might be very traditional subject. It might be, as I say, you want to mix and match vocational. You might want to try something different, something new. Criminology has proved to be very, very popular. So if I talk to you a little bit then about actually what post-16 education looks like at St Cyres and what you can expect. Well, you can expect excellent teaching, and that is consistently excellent teaching across the curriculum from very experienced staff. Now our expectation is, and it's why we have entry requirements that are quite stringent, is that you are able to access and study 4 AS levels in year 12 plus the Advanced Welsh Baccalaureate. And one of the reasons for this, because somebody will always ask that, is that actually it gives students a breadth of study, and it allows them then to continue on with 3 subjects. So they will drop a subject at the end of year 12 and continue with the Welsh Baccalaureate. Universities really, really like our students' academic profile, because what it shows is that they are capable of studying at that high level that has prepared them for undergraduate study. It's one of the reasons why our students get their offers very, very quickly and often have all their offers much sooner than students in other schools. So I'm really proud of that, and it is quite a challenging curriculum for students, but they really do appreciate it when they've finished it. They don't always appreciate me telling them they have to do it, but they do appreciate when they've finished it. We have a range of opportunities for students to engage with higher education establishments. Now, more recently, that's been virtual, and I send out a bulletin every week and I highlight the virtual opportunities that there have been. We are very much hoping that with the new cohort, things are opening back up and getting back to normal, so we'll be able to get outside speakers in to talk to them about higher education, what that might look like, to talk to them about the types of courses that are available. So we do quite a lot of that. And that's even been through COVID when it's been more virtual. For the highest achieving students at GCSE, we have membership of the SEREN network, and they are extremely supportive of our students, and we work in tandem with them to make sure students with the very highest aspirations that also have the academic qualifications to match are able to access that. As Mr. Lewis said, we've got two students this year that have applied to and have got offers or holding offers from Oxford University. We have others that are waiting to hear about their medical applications, but they have got interviews so far. We're just waiting to hear. But we also provide bespoke careers advice for all our students, because not all students have aspirations for undergraduate level. Sometimes they might want to look at something like a degree apprenticeship, which are creeping in more and more. And we work quite closely with University of South Wales and the Network 75 opportunities that they provide. So we've really got careers advice for all of our students. So if I could just talk a little bit more then about where our sixth form takes students, okay? I've already talked a little bit about it, but university and higher education is what most students go on to do. Apprenticeship and work, we are increasingly finding students doing this, and it's a really practical goal that we can support students with. In the same way that I send out virtual opportunities every week for things like taster sessions, and online open days and campus tours and those sorts of things, there are an increasing number of opportunities for apprenticeships. We make sure that they're available and that students are aware of them, and we support them with some of their application as far as we are able to. Because some students actually are not ready for university just yet. So I have also students that leave and go into the world of work initially, and then will ask me to support their application. I think I've done 8 this year. As you can imagine, there were some students last year simply not really quite ready for university with the disruption they'd had, and I've supported their applications this year and they've been successful. So we do actually take our students, it doesn't, when they've left, they're still part of our sixth form family. Russell Group universities, as we've said, almost half our students attending Russell Group University. That includes Oxford, Cambridge, medical courses. They are particularly suitable for students who gain high GCSE grades across a wide range of subjects. So we would look for those students to be part of our SEREN programme, and then we would look at where it is that they might want to aspire to study as an undergraduate. So it takes me on really to, okay, well, what do you have to do to get into our sixth form? Well, what we require is that students have a minimum of 5 GCSE grades, but that those grades have to come from across different subject areas. So students would need option subjects as well as maths and English, for example. So I'll talk to you a little bit more about that in a second. Some subjects, please be aware that even if you meet our minimum requirements, some subjects have their own entry requirements. So, for example, in order to study maths A level, you'd need at least a B grade on the higher tier at GCSE. In history, you would need to have studied history at GCSE and gained a C grade in it. Politics requires a B grade in history or one of the other humanities subjects, plus a C grade from an English GCSE. Our expectation is also that you have kept an excellent attendance rate, because the link between attendance and achievement, particularly at A level, is very, very significant. It's a very distinct link. So that's something we insist on. And obviously a reference from Mr. Flynn, from your head of year, detailing your aptitude for level 3 study. So if we have a quick look at what an entry profile might look like, So what we have here is a student who's got 6 GCSE grades, and they're A stars to C's, they're C grades and above. And then what we think then is, but those grades are only from 4 different subject areas. So if my glamorous assistant could just click the next bit for me, please. Thank you. So that's 4 different subject areas. And then if you could click me again, please. Okay, so that academic profile wouldn't allow the pupil to cope with the demands of our level 3 study. They would struggle to engage or access with our curriculum, so they wouldn't be offered a place in our sixth form. So it is important that when you're considering applying, you look at what you're predicted to achieve, that you look at your achievements as a whole. I'm happy to talk to students on an individual basis about what their entry profile might look like, or what it is looking like. And I know Mr. Flynn and Mr. Bruton are also available to talk to students about their entry profile. So that's our entry requirements. Then I want to have a look at the Welsh back. Now, I'm often asked, why do they have to do Welsh back? Some institutions don't offer that. I make no apologies for it. It's a fantastic opportunity for our students. It is very much valued by higher education institutions, and it is very often included in university offers, and that is not just Welsh universities at all. It can actually lower the grade requirements for other subjects. We've had students with offers to study medicine which have included the Welsh Baccalaureate. We've got students holding offers for Oxford that have got an offer that includes Welsh Bac. It's incredibly important. So if I could just have the next bit, please, sir. So you can see from this here that what we've got is a student that's requirements from Bath University. The requirement is that in order to access the course outlined there, natural sciences, they would need to have an A star and 2 A's in their A levels, and it's very specific, but we'll drop that to 3 A's if they also get the B in Welsh Bac. And students will often do better in Welsh Baccalaureate than others because there are no exams, so it's all continually assessed. If we can have another click, please, sir. And this is an interesting one because this is a student who was applying for particular type of engineering, and what they, if you look at the very bottom part of it, what the university said was they would accept just one element of the Welsh Bac at an A grade, the individual project, which is probably what they're working on now at GCSE. It's a similar, much bigger project, and it's sort of like a mini dissertation. And I quite often get students that have left and gone to university who will ask if we can reshare their Welsh Bac individual project with them because it mirrors what they're doing at university. So it's a really good qualification. And I just very quickly then want to talk about the level 3 vocational qualifications. Sorry, that's okay, go on. That's it. All of our qualifications are level 3. So again, a question I'm often asked is, well, is it the same as an A level? So is criminology the same as an A level? Is medical science the same? Yes, it absolutely is. It's a level 3 qualification and they are equally valued. They suit students who perform better with coursework is what we generally find, because they're usually 50% coursework, 50% exam. So for students who get anxious about exams or simply just perform better when they're able to draft and redraft, then these are really effective qualifications. And I just want to highlight the fact that our student, or one of our students this year that's got into Oxford, it actually includes criminology is actually outlined on her offer in exactly the same way as her other subjects have been outlined. So they are equally as valued. There's just no two ways about it. And you can see there from Oxford that the grades need to be A star A, but they're quite happy to accept the applied diploma at a grade A. That is criminology, actually, this one. So all of the better universities will see those level 3 qualifications as absolutely the same as other A levels. So then I just want to talk a little bit about where our students end up. It's quite interesting that a quarter of our students made Cardiff University their firm choice last year. It's a Russell Group uni, the only one in Wales, and it was firm choice for a quarter of our students. And then the other 3 universities that tend to be really, really popular with our students: Swansea University, University of South Wales, Cardiff Met, and actually University of the West of England, Bristol, is also very popular with students. So they are the ones that most of our students will put an application in for, and you can see that a significant number of our students actually end up in just those 4 universities, and they're the ones that we work very well with, partly because they're local, but our students really, really value their studies from there, and we actually get very, very positive feedback from students that attend those universities. I just want to very quickly finish off with some common misconceptions that students have. Students will often feel like, well, I can only go to sixth form if I know what I want to do. I have to know what pathway, because that's how I'm going to pick my A levels. You really don't need to know what you want to do. Yes, it's helpful, and yes, some of your peers might know, but you don't need to know. If you're really not sure, then pick the subjects that you really, really enjoy studying and that you're good at. Another one is that in order to study in order to go and study law in university, you need to have studied A-level law at A-level law in school. And actually that isn't the case at all. In fact, sometimes it's a deterrent. What they prefer is English or history or geography, but they're equally as happy if students have studied the sciences or the maths. They want the aptitude for study at that level. Another one is that you need A-level maths in order to study accounting. You really don't. Business studies is actually really useful for accounting because it covers part of that in the course. Or that you need all science subjects for nursing. You really don't. You'd probably be okay with medical science and health and social care, those 2 in the mix. That would be really, really useful if you want a career in nursing, because health and social care looks at lots of legislation, and medical science actually looks at the application of the sciences. But again, I'm happy to talk to students and advise them on an individual basis. And one of the common misconceptions I would say is that students come in thinking, oh, I'm studying fewer subjects, therefore I won't have to work as hard. That really isn't true, because they're A levels and they're harder. You do have to study as hard. It's just in a slightly different way. So really, that's sort of it from me. What I would say is this is where the journey starts. The A-level journey, or the journey onto higher education, starts here with you talking to me, Mr. Flynn, Mr. Bruton, making sure that you pick the right A-levels, that you get the right AS choices, that you're studying the subjects that are either going to be relevant to a course, and talk to us about that, or the subjects that you just really, really enjoy studying and therefore are far more likely to succeed in. But very, very happy to talk to students at any point if they need any more guidance. And I'll hand over to Mr. Bruton, I think, now.
Good evening, everyone. I'm going to just talk a little bit about the options process and go through the details really of what you need to do next. So how many subjects do we offer in the sixth form? As Miss Jones has gone through, we offer a whole range of different subjects, all level 3, from traditional ASs to vocational courses, and we actually offer 34, which is a large number of different courses and programs of study. So in terms of how many subjects you need to choose, as Miss Jones has already said, you need to choose 4, so 4 ASs. And you'll also be studying the Advanced Welsh Bac. The Key Stage 5 curriculum has got a range of different parts to it, which I'll just talk through now. If you can click on all of them, please. So we have 8 lessons per option, so for 4 options. There's also 5 lessons for the Welsh Bac, and that leaves 13 lessons for study, and that study is really important. It's not time, as Miss Jones sort of pointed out earlier, it's not time to just relax and you'll have less work. Actually, that time is vital so that you can ensure that you work really hard on those 4 options and the Welsh back, and there's plenty of study time that needs to be taken, but also, you know, time to talk to your friends and relax. But the main element of the study time is for study and for work, and to ensure that you succeed in those subjects. So in terms of the process, there's a number of things that you need to do, really. The first thing is you need to look really carefully at the prospectus, because the prospectus highlights all of the entry requirements for the sixth form. It goes over a lot of the information we've just covered this evening. It talks about in some detail each of the options, those 34 options, subjects. So it's really, really important that you look at that and that you read the subject details and that you do your research. You know, as always, you know, don't choose things that your friends are going to choose. Don't choose it because, you know, a teacher you really like. It may be that teacher doesn't teach that subject. It may be that your friends, when it comes to actually starting the course, aren't doing those subjects. So think really carefully about that. Do your research, read the prospectus in detail, and think carefully about the combination of subjects. So think about, you know, perhaps mixing it up slightly and not having all academic subjects. Think about potentially doing a vocational course maybe alongside, because you won't have all exams. And that's quite important to reflect on, really, and to think carefully. What's also really important is all of the information I've referred to now, and I will refer to in the next couple of slides. All of that information is on our website. It's live. And if you access the website, there's a tile which I'll show you shortly. And basically all of the videos of the faculties and the departments talking about their subjects. The recording of this live presentation will be there. And the prospectus is also there. There'll also be a link on the website for the Google form, and that needs to be completed by your children by the 16th of February, so the Wednesday before half term. And that form will also be shared. Originally it was going to be email, which I said today, but it's actually going to be through a class charts announcement. But if they can't find the class charts announcement, they can also look at the website and just click on the website. And what's really quite important is when they fill in the options that they do it in preference order. So they put down in rank 1 to 4. So the number 1 being the most important subject to them, because when it comes to organising the actual option columns, it works on a basis of preference. So if they put down number 1 as their most important subject and 4 as their least important subject to them, then the system will work that out for me, and it will ensure that as many pupils get the choices they want in terms of the option columns. So that's quite important. So in terms of the sixth form options tile, this is what I was referring to just now. All the information is there. You can click on all of the things that I've just talked about. So the prospectus, the videos, making sure that, you know, the research is done with the prospectus, and this pre-recorded, this particular presentation now will also be there as well. And that's me. So I'm going to pass you over now to Mr. Flynn, head of Year 11.
Thanks, Mr. Bruin. Yeah, so I'm Mr. Flynn. I'm head of Year 11. I've had this year group since they first joined in Year 7. So I just want to do a brief thing with you and just basically encourage you and the pupils, if they have any questions about any of this, is please just to let me know. If you could go on to the next slide for me, please. I know when I've spoken to a lot of the pupils already about sixth form, there's obviously a lot of questions, you know, and we just want to make sure that they take advantage of all the advice that's available to them. So please, if they want to come and speak to me, you know, either in the morning or at lunch, or if they want to catch me sometime in the day, just to let me know. They can see Mr. Bruton and Miss Jones as well at any time. I'd strongly encourage them as well to speak to their teachers. Again, if they want to find out more about the course at A level and kind of what it contains and whether it's the right pick for them, you know, sometimes their class teachers are the best person for it. And we do have Tony McLean, the careers advisor. A lot of people have been asking for a meeting with Tony. We can't guarantee that they can all have a meeting before the 16th because he does have a lot of appointments taken up already, but he is available via email, so please take advantage of him as well. And of course, if you have any questions as parents or carers, please just drop me an email or message me on class charts or give me a call, and I can hopefully answer any queries you have about this. So yeah, please just ask as many questions as possible. And we have to make sure, obviously, that they make the right choices and they're fully prepared for life in sixth form next year. So that's all from me, and I think I'll pass it back to Mr. Lewis now.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Flynn, and thank you to all contributors there, and to you parents and year 11 pupils listening. We're just sort of coming towards the end of it now. I know we've given you a lot of information, and it's quite hard to absorb all of that, particularly on screen. We've got a very small number of questions, actually. I'm taking that as something as a compliment that we've probably covered everything that you want to know. But if we haven't addressed the things that you want to know, then please pop that into the Q&A now. And we'll do our best to answer them.